Welcome to the inspirational journey of Sarah Tilsley of Reiki Dreams. This interview will inspire and inform you of Sarah's life journey. Enjoy! My first question for you was, when did you start your journey in spiritual? Whereabouts did you actually first start off with everything?
Well, it's a bit of a long-winded answer because I come from a clergy family. My grandfather was a priest and an exorcist, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, I inherited his tools and had to do that work for a while, but that's another story. My uncle is a priest and my mother worked for the Bishop of Bermuda, and I've got another uncle who's a monk. So it started off then, but I rebelled against it. And I was locked in a boarding school convent, and I always used to raise my hand and say, I want to learn about Buddhism. I want to learn about other religions. And no, Sarah Tilsley, in those days, you were at a Roman Catholic school, so you only had to be taught that. So I started reading, I think I started with 7 years in Tibet. The book was just ended up on my shelf and I couldn't put it down, and I just devoured everything about Tibet from then on. I even toyed with going to the School of Oriental and African Studies to learn Sanskrit and Tibetan, but I couldn't work out what I would do with them, which was what was a good career. So then I went off and had a normal life. But my real journey started up again, unfortunately, when my partner committed suicide. I just started getting into crystals at the time. And then this happened and lots of weird stuff started happening, but I didn't want to go down the wrong road at the wrong time. So I left it 2 years. And then a friend went to a local new age shop and did a psychic development course and said, oh, Sarah, you'd love it. So off I went. And that was 20 years ago now. So 20 years of really schooling myself in it since then. But the journey started, I suppose, at birth with the family I was brought into. Yeah. And I can go into any religious temple, synagogue. In fact, I go and collect the christening oils at Easter with my family for our churches. So, and I am introduced as a druid. Here is Sarah. She is a druid. Wow. And I have never any animosity. I renew my vows with the priest to help people. That's how I see it. So, yeah. With my business now, the healing business has totally changed since I've seen you. For years, I was trying in my locality, and you know, it's difficult to do workshops and things because it's a woo-woo subject anyway. Yeah. You know, and it just felt like I was flogging a dead horse, you know, going to all these shows. The stuff I do is so wacky that people will always come up and ask questions, but you know, they won't sort of purchase a treatment. It's only really been a handful of people in your locality that are interested in the same things as you. Yeah. But on a day trip to Glastonbury, a friend said, oh, can you just do a relaxation meditation for my children? It was the end of the holidays. She was probably like this. This was before COVID, the summer before COVID. Yeah. So I did a quick qigong. Actually, no, it was just relax the hairs on your head and smooth the furrows in your brow. And I just talked through a 10-minute relaxation. And she said they all went to sleep. Oh, and I put it on the YouTube because I didn't really know anything even about YouTube. So I just added it for fun.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, and then my friend Neil Cooper, who is also a student who's very techie and had his own YouTube site, said, Sarah, you've got to start doing your meditations from your courses and whatever on YouTube. So I did, and he said there's something called ASMR. I'd heard of it on the Gadget Show on BBC One.
Oh, right.
And where people talk really quietly and you push your hand and they feel everything. It's perfect for Reiki and energy. So I did a couple on there and he promoted it, and it was like, bam, you know, I was earning money from YouTube.
Brilliant, isn't it?
And now people put me on it in their kids' bedrooms to go to sleep, and it helps people. And it just started going ballistic, video appointments. So I'm doing.
Amazing. So did you do a subscribe? Did you sort of get people to subscribe to your channel, or did you?
They subscribe.
Wow.
You've got to keep coming up with content, so I have to try and do a couple of videos a week and make interesting. I'm doing a Reiki treatment essentially down a screen, and I work for the collective, and it's all about calming. Most people have anxieties. That's what the crux is of our new world, if you like. And they can't relax. They're busy. They've got the pressures of work and the real life, and they just need a story in their head. You know, it's like an audio tape.
But was there anyone who inspired you quite early on? Did that inspiration come from your family, or was it because you wanted to go another way, as you said?
No,
the
I think has come from me reading books and wanting to learn the class. I mean, I've always had my heads in Homer, Plato, really boring old-fashioned books like that. And if anyone has inspired me, and it would have to be Gandhi. When I saw the film, you know, of Mahatma Gandhi, that was it. And, you know, all those people that have had to move country, you know, like the Dalai Lama, who's had to trek across the mountains from adversity. It's people from history that have inspired me, I suppose, really. But when I look back now, and I look back at my grandparents' life, because they were through both wars, and how they lived, how the women lived as well as the men, I look back and I think, boy, we've got it easy, you know, and I can do. We now have the free time where we don't have to sweep the whole house. We can just quickly hoover it. We have the time to pursue our interests a lot more than they do. So I am making damn good use of that time.
So which parts of your journey would you say was the most challenging?
The very beginning, when my partner died, I've been, you know, that was the hardest time to get through. You know, but since then I've been very lucky. You know, I've had lovely children. I have had lovely relationships again. I've had lovely parents. I've led a very sheltered and privileged upbringing. So I'm lucky. I don't suffer. I can't concentrate and dwell on things long enough to get upset by them. Yeah. So I count myself as lucky. I can't remember the question now, and I know I went off it a bit.
No, that's okay. Just you answered it. Your most challenging time in your journey.
In the beginning. In regards to the spiritual side of things, it was, you didn't know if you were helping, but you always hoped and had faith that you were. And even though I could not feel energy coming out of my hands, because I was stopped for years, because I think they wanted me to trust and know that it was getting to the people, my clients could feel it, you know. So it was just having faith and having a hope, and tomorrow is a better day.
Okay, what about the most rewarding part of your journey? So would you say that is sort of coming in now because you're finding that you're able to do it more?
It's always come in, because ever since, I suppose, I've been teaching for 11 years and I've been doing proper healing and those nasty, scary house hauntings, which have finished now. But it's watching people transform their lives. And I don't just say, come and see me, I can make it better. Because the idea is working through ideas. You know, if somebody self-sabotages, how can we stop that mindset and get them to change it?
Yeah.
So it's suggesting different things.
Yeah.
And them coming back and saying, I tried that and it works. And my whole outlook has changed. I'm now more positive. I'm now helping myself to do something. It's opening the door for people. A good teacher opens the door, yeah, and just sort of shows the way through. Most of my students surpass me in the psychic abilities, the healing abilities. But we as teachers, we need a foot in this world when we guide those people, just in case they get a bit scared or a bit worried. We need to be able to bring them back. So I'm better at teaching people than I am healing, Reiki healing, or psychically reading people. So it's helping people to help themselves and bring their skills on, and seeing the excitement.
I noticed, because I was having a little look on your page, and I noticed now, forgive me if I say this wrong, Egyptian cartouche?
Egyptian cartouche.
Cartouche. Now, what's that?
The actual Egyptian cartouche. Now, this is a scarab beetle. It is one of my spirit helpers, and it is a lucky charm in a way. There was the scarab god who pushed the sun across the sky. And this was probably made for someone who was wealthy in Victorian, Edwardian times, when Englishmen started to travel, you know. And the actual cartouche, that is a cartouche. So it is the symbols.
It's a name, isn't it, Sarah? So the wealthy would have had a name maybe put after this in it?
It's rather a phrase for names. You know, each thing will have a different pictures, and that round bit or cylinderish thing there is called the cartouche.
Okay.
So that is what the cartouche is, yes. It's you know, people say, how do you do a Reiki treatment distantly? Well, you can heal distantly, you can pray distantly, and I've done them with people that I've done in real life and people that have taken my courses online, because I teach 6 different types of Reiki now, and they've said it's stronger online. And I spoke to a shamanic woman and I said, why is that? And she said, because the environment doesn't get in the way. You are focused on the screen.
Well, my next question was, what have you learned on your journey?
Yeah, I think it has to be the people that have brought our times, you know, our country through the troubles, you know, and all of those little people. I suppose, to me, it would be the war generation. My father hand wrote the Japanese surrender. He was one of the people on the Missouri who did that, and their parents, because I heard all those stories growing up, and at the time I was like, oh, but now I think, wow. Yeah. You know, wow, you made it all right for us, you know. And I know people go through daily trials and tribulations, but where would we be without the medical profession now? I might do all this Reiki stuff, but I am telling people to have their medicine as well. Do you know what I mean? Because it helps it work better. Yeah. And so I did put up that I had my COVID jab, and I was like, thank you to the best mind in the world. Yeah. I know, and I got bitched at for that, you know, and I resent that. So yeah, all of this energy healing, you know, do it as well if you can as the other stuff. Don't do it just by itself. Okay, we might try and get rid of a mild headache, but if it doesn't go, you're reaching for the paracetamol, aren't you? Or you're guzzling another gallon of water.
Yeah, exactly. So if I wanted to sign up for one of your courses, would it be best going through the YouTube channel? If you look in the show notes of every YouTube video, there is my email address.
and people can email me for a services list.
Okay.
And lists, video healings and readings are pretty much done together. I'm a healer before I'm a reader, but I do sometimes get psychic messages that come through. But people say, do I have to wait for the course? And it's no, you can do it at your own leisure, because I will sit down, it will be private, you and me learning together.
Okay.
And they can book that way, or they can book through my Facebook page or my Instagram page.
Yeah, the last question I've got is, if you could meet anyone living or past, who would that be, and what do you think you would say to them? There's probably quite a few people that you would.
Homer, if he existed, because it's not sure. It's been a collective who wrote those. As I said, Mahatma Gandhi and the Dalai Lama, I don't even have to ask them anything, just to be in their presence. And I do, listen to their wisdom. And now we've got the online stuff, we can sort of get that. I don't know, this was too hard. This was really too hard. It would be, I can't define that really. Who would I meet these days? If someone out of modern history is probably a bit more interesting. And I would actually say Churchill. I know people say he was a bigoted man, but he was also a druid. Really? He was a druid. The Queen is an honorary bard. She's been brought into the order. It would be the people that got our countries through their troubled times. And loads of people are bitching on the government at the moment. And I'm like, hold on, they've never lived through this before. I don't think anyone could have done better. They're doing the best they can.
Yeah.
So I hated her at the time, Thatcher, but she was a formidable woman. How did she get up there in a really patriarchal 70s society? So I don't agree with many of her. I was cheering when she was gone, but now I look back and I think, do you know what? You did all right. You did a lot for the female species.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to turn off this recording now, and I want to say, we don't have to say bye here, but I'm just going to turn the recording off, and I just want to say thank you so much for spending a bit of time with me, and for having this little chat and interview.
I've enjoyed it.
It's been great. It's been great. I learned stuff about you that I didn't know, and no, there's a lot. You're a very, very interesting person. You've learned a lot, and you've got a lot to give, and it's always nice to speak to someone who's just, I'm into spiritual stuff, and I love spiritual stuff, but I don't understand it quite like you do. But you have put the time and the effort in to study it, and there is the big difference. You do it's your thing, and you put the time and studying. And occasionally I come in and I dabble with a bit, and I love it, and I've still got all my tools out. They're always there ready for when I need them. And it's nice to have them all set up there, because if I do feel like I want to do it, it's all there. My little cards, my angel cards, I've got it all ready. So and it interests me, it intrigues me, and it interests me, and you're a very interesting person.
Oh, thanks.
I want to say thank you so much for today. I'm going to stop the recording now, Sarah.